Oh yes, was a wonderful Monday morning like this. Good morning and a pleasant welcome to Maggie FM 90.5. We transmit to you here in Gunpa City, Nimba County on the sound frequency of 90.5. Morning and a pleasant welcome to Coffee Hour. Coffee Hour comes your airway Monday through Friday of the week. And this program promises to be one of the fascinating ones ever. So please invite someone to listen along with you this morning as we go along the program. On behalf of the production crew of Coffee Hour, my name is Zika. And this morning, let's share coffee together. And so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are based on your location respectively. I'd like to welcome you to this most informative and inspirational news magazine presentation that comes your airway Mondays through Friday. And let me say good morning to our regular listeners, our followers of Maggie FM. We are also live on the social media. You can also catch us on Facebook, Maggie's TV Live, MAGKRE TV live, and you will see us live on screen. You can also watch us on YouTube. Like and follow our YouTube channel, Maggie TV. We are live there on YouTube. Like and also subscribe to our YouTube channel and get all of the latest information here on Maggie TV. So this morning, what are stories we will be parading? In Lofa County, an 8-year-old girl lost her life there yesterday. We will be bringing you detail of that information. And coming up at 6:45, we take our African development. Following that, 7 o'clock, we will bring you our news full bulletin as well. Host the district education officer of Mr. Hamilton P. Dolelier. We are hoping that he will be our guest via mobile this morning as he discusses issue relating his district. Of recent, he was one of those that got appointed by the government of Liberia through the education ministry as the district education officer. So we are hoping to join him this morning to give us more update regarding his district. And so let's now go for this break. When we come back, we take our international development right here on Coffee Hour this morning. So let's go for this break. It is a usual commercial break that we take, and right after that, we will bring you our African development.
Wake up in the morning, my baby just acting hard, confusing me. Now what play I'ma carry hard.
Hi, my brother. I'm a stranger here in Ghana, and I don't know what to carry my pregnant wife for good medical treatment.
Have you not heard about the Maggie Medical Clinic in Ghana City?
No, my brother. Tell me something.
Anyway, you said you are a stranger here, but let me locate you a better health facility that your pregnant wife, your children, and even yourself can go and receive the perfect treatment to solve all of your health problems.
Wow, I'm eagerly waiting to know, my brother.
The Maggie Medical Clinic, located behind the Orange Tower in Royal Community in Ghana City, Nima County, is just a suitable health center for you and your entire friends and family. At Maggie Medical Clinic, we offer treatment to infants, children, youth, adults, and pregnant women, as well as do the testing for typhoid and other sicknesses you think of at an affordable cost. One good thing is, children from age 0 to 5 clinic registration is free of charge, as well as pregnant women checkup and lab.
Thank you so much, my brother. I'm on my way right now at the Maggie Medical Clinic with my wife and children to do our checkup and treatments.
For any information about Maggie Medical Clinic, located behind the Orange Tower, the road leading from Sumo Ganta into Royal Community, you can call 0886 930 886 or 0770 678 446. With Maggie Medical Clinic, your health is wealth.
Se on tira malera on voa fora. De trabalho porque no paloma aqui play. Oye na go gopa, pa que tu con la nede ata zaza. I don't mean I go creep. I me wali me so there melody. Never say they follow me top or never follow you. Check out the Maggie Clinic, the thing I thought you would see it.
I got joy.
It is celebration time. Oh yes, the Christian Bible Church and Center, CBC for short, is celebrating 25 glorious years of the faithfulness of God. It is Silver Jubilee, a time to celebrate the goodness and faithfulness of the Lord over the years. This historic celebration is set to take place at the 22nd General Annual Conference of the Christian Bible Church and Center in February, and it is happening on Friday, February 14, 2025, as they gather to honor God's goodness and reflect on 25 years of spreading the gospel, transforming lives, and building a community of faith. In this light, the Christian Bible Church and Center is inviting all leaders, members, partners, friends, well-wishers, and the general public from Liberia and beyond to come and join them in celebrating this historic Silver Jubilee 2025. There will be powerful messages, soul-lifting worship, and unforgettable moments in God's presence. The Silver Jubilee is being celebrated under the theme at 25, continuing in Christ, transformational grace. The scriptural text for the occasion is Philippians 3:12-14. This all-important Silver Jubilee is expected to be a once-in-a-lifetime event as the Christian Bible Church and Center reflects all their 25 years journey as a ministry. The Silver Jubilee celebration will include a grand march through the principal street of Ganta to the headquarters of the Christian Bible Church and Center in CBC community. Come and join the Christian Bible Church and Center to make history and embrace the next chapter of God's divine plan for this ministry and its people. Don't miss the Christian Bible Church and Center's Silver Jubilee celebration happening on Friday, the 14th of February 2025. God bless you as I see them.
Oh yes, welcome back after that commercial break. It is indeed a usual break here on Maggie Coffee Hour. At this point, we now go for our foreign development right here on Maggie Coffee Hour. And we take this one. It says here, UN Chief Antonio Guterres called Sunday on Rwandan forces to withdraw from the Democratic Republic of Congo and hot support for fighters advancing on the key Congolese city of Goma. M23 fighters backed by several thousand Rwandan troops have been quickly advancing through the city, which lies along the DRC's eastern border and is home to more than 1 million people. Several foreign peacekeepers have been killed in the mounting violence around Goma. Guterres has previously referred to a UN Express report citing Kigali's backing of the M23, but had not explicitly called on Rwanda to withdraw from DRC territory. In a statement Sunday, made after 3 UN peacekeepers in eastern DRC had been killed within 48 hours, Guterres emphasized that attacks against United Nations personnel may constitute a war crime. The UN in the maritime has begun to evacuate non-essential staff from the major city of Goma in eastern DRC, a United source told AFP. During an emergency meeting of the UN Secretary Council section on Sunday, permanent member states France, Britain, and the United States called on Rwanda to pull its forces back, but others, including China and the African Union's holding rotating council states, did not especially name Kigali. The Security Council has a hold yet to accuse Rwanda of taking part directly in the conflict, simply undermining the importance of DRC territorial integrity. But the French ambassador to the UN, Nicolas de Riviere, indicated Sunday he was working on the Security Council statement that he called a cat, a phrase especially meaning to state directly what something is without showcasing it. He urged the council to condemn what he said would give a threat to regional peace and security. Congolese Foreign Minister Thérias Gamamba Wanga went further, using and urging the council to impose sweeping economic and political sanctions on Kigali. She accused Rwanda of having sent new troops into eastern DRC on Sunday, actions which had been amounted to a declaration of war. But Rwanda's ambassador to the UN, Ernest Bumanko, rejected the accusations, accusing Kinshasa of being responsible for the deteriorating situation and failing to make genuine commitments to peace. He suggested that the UN peacekeepers in the DRC has joined a coalition seeking regime change in Rwanda. The fighting in the region has forced some 23,000 to flee their homes. Eastern DRC has vast many resources and its complex landscape rather aimed military, which has been violence up and since the 1990s. Again, we will take this one here finally on the foreign development as we bring you our local and local and national stories. Still in DRC, United Nations Army officials say fighting which M23 rebels in eastern DRC has left 13 peacekeepers and foreign soldiers dead. DRC, the United Nations expert, accused Rwanda of backing M23, which is made of ethnic Tutsis, who broke away from the DRC more than a decade ago. Kigali has denied accusations that it backs the rebel, but last year acknowledged that it has troops and military stations in eastern DRC to safeguard its security, pointing out what it said was a build-up to Congolese forces near the border. The burning wreckage of a white armed fighting vehicle carrying UN packing could be seen on the road between Goma and Sek on Sunday, where much of the fighting was concentrated in recent days. 2 South African peacekeepers were killed Friday, while a Ugandan Blue Helmet was killed Sunday, a UN official told the Associated Press. The UN spoke on coordinating of animosity because they weren't authorized to speak to the matter publicly. Additionally, 3 Malian peacekeepers were killed in eastern DRC, the United Nations in Malawi said on Sunday. 7 South African soldiers from the SAM DRC were also killed during clashes with M23 over the last 2 days, South Africa's Department of Defense said in a statement. Uganda's military in the statement issued Sunday identified its member killed in DRC as Ratolofo Alives, who was part of the Hungary 5 Battalion. The unit, according to the statement, is working to comply with the UN mandates as well as to guarantee the evacuation of non-essential civilian and military personnel from the city of Goma. And that is it for our foreign development here on Maggie Coffee Hour with the time 7 minutes until 7 o'clock, and coming up at 7 we will take our news full bulletin from the local and international national developments right here on Maggie Coffee Hour. If you're just joining us, I'd like to welcome you via the Facebook platform as well as on our YouTube page. You can follow us. And so let's now go for this inspirational tips right here. When we come back, we will take our news full bulletin right here on Coffee Hour. So let's now get our inspirational tips here this morning on your favorite. Okay.
Jesus save me when I'm down and low, when I feel like I can't carry on.
Today I need you to embrace what comes hard. Today I need you to accept the challenge. Today I need you to fall in love with the process.
There will be plenty of opportunities to get discouraged, to lose your passion, and think that it's not meant to be. But if you're going to reach your destiny, you have to have a made-up mind. If you give up after the first time, or the 5th time, or the 30th time, what that really means is you didn't want it bad enough. There should be something you're believing for that you are relentless. You are not moved by how impossible it looks. You're not discouraged by how long it's taking. You don't give up because people told you no. Your attitude is, if I have to believe my whole life, I'm not going to stop believing. I am not going to take no for an answer. I'm not going to settle for mediocrity. I'm going to keep pursuing what put in my heart.
And ask ourselves, what do I really want? What do I really want? And write it down. Writing causes thinking. Thinking creates an image. And you get these images going, you're building a vision in your mind. It's the visionaries that's changed the world. Think of them.
But what keeps that competitive edge, what keeps you on top, is the ability to think and prepare mentally over and over and over again. The body has limitations, the mind does not. We focus so much on what goes on from the neck down that we forget it all starts from here. Everything starts from here. If you're not mentally ready, you're never really physically prepared. And that's where the preparation starts.
What would your life be like as you look toward the future if you decided, I'm not going to allow my fears to stop me? And I'm saying to you, whatever you got to do it, because if you don't, life is going to whoop you until you surrender.
So when you're young and you make mistakes, don't let them eat you up. Because everybody that done made it. You got to fail in order to win. Hey, look, man, to understand how to hit the game-winning shot, you got to miss the game-winning shot. You know, you got to be tough because the road to success is always under construction. It's never a clear path to success. The people who become successful are the people who have a relentless attitude. And you just got to hang in there through the bad breaks, because the bad breaks is coming, but they usually come right before the big break is about to happen. You get a series of bad breaks and it stumbles up a lot of people. My life and my success is to say to anyone, you can stumble, you can fall, you can get back up again.
No matter what you face, no matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge, and by a challenge I mean anything in life, any challenge, anything that you're facing, the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking. Take that step every day, no matter what you are facing. Get up and start walking.
I have the ability to see the end before the beginning even begins. And what that means is I know that to get to the very end, I can see it right now. So before I went to Buds and I was losing all this weight and shit, I saw myself walking across the stage at 191 pounds. That's what I had to get to get into the door. I saw myself 6 months, a year later, whatever it's going to take me to do it. I saw myself walking across that stage, getting that certificate of graduation from Buds. And I was able to be there at 300 pounds. And that feeling that I was nowhere near that feeling, I was able to put myself there 1,000,000 times every day. And that feeling of like, my God, that is going to feel amazing. That's what made me suffer. That's what allowed the pain to be real and say, this is worth it. I want to feel for this next 18 months. It took me 18 months to finally become a Navy SEAL, to finally, just get through Buds. 18 months, it's 6 months. It took me 18. That's what woke me up every morning was, I'm going to put myself through this much pain and suffering for a few seconds. That's all it is. A few seconds of joy. And it's so worth it, man. That's what people don't get. So I'm able to put myself at the finish line, even though I have no finish line, but at the finish line of an event before I even start to say, how are you going to feel at the end of this? Visualizing is my biggest tool of life. That's why I've been able to put myself in cold water, put myself in a 100-mile race millions of times before I've done it. And I'm able to go through the race and see how I'm going to feel at mile 50, almost to the exact feeling.
Right, so when it comes up, it's no surprise.
It's no surprise. I've already done this 1,000,000 times.
I recommended the last time I was here, the little book, Richest Man in Babylon, and I said, I've lectured now to over 3 million people. Guess how many have actually gone and got this little book? Answer, very few. My best guess is 10%. Such an easy thing to do. This little book, number one, is easy to find. Number two, it's easy to buy. The most you can pay for it, $6, $7, $8. You can borrow that from your kids. But if it's easy to find and easy to buy, and if it's easy to read, why wouldn't everybody go get it? We don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Here's how profound it is. Some do, and...
Oh, yes, welcome back. Welcome back. The inspirational break is a usual feature right here on Coffee Hour. Let's now go for our news bulletin with the time 1 minute past 7 o'clock right here this morning on Maggie 90.5. Good morning from the news table on Coffee Hour this morning. I'm Zika Vudole. The Liberian National Police LNP has with immediate effect dismissed one officer and suspended two others following an investigation by the professional divisions into their involvement in acts of corruption, abuse of authority, and neglect of duty. The investigation was triggered by an encounter between the Inspector General of Police, Honorable Gregory O. Doyekome, and the LNP Hatchway Patrol Team in Bong County on January 17, 2025, where some Hatchway Patrol officers were buffing drivers and taking bribes. Officers dismissed and suspected include Sergeant Musa V. Sharif, at the number 2248 as the team leader. Sergeant Sharif has been dismissed with immediate effect. He was found guilty of corruption, neglect of duty, and misconduct as outlined in the administrative actions and instructions AI on discipline and professional standards. Pat Julius Reeves at the number 1733. A PUS officer, Pat Reeves, has been suspended for 4 months without salary for participating in unethical behaviors, including neglect of duty and misconduct. Erasmus K. Jalal at the number 6613. The driver, Jalal, has been suspended for 3 months without salary for his involvement in unethical behavior. These officers are required to turn all governments of Liberia GOL properties in their possession, including uniforms, shoes, belts, and badges, to the Human Resources Division of the Liberia National Police. Additionally, the amount of $36,000 Liberian dollars confiscated from the officers as a result of the bribery has been deposited in government coffers at the Central Bank of Liberia. The LNP is committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and accountability within its ranks. The National Public Health Institute of Liberia (NPHIL) has launched an investigation into reports of the mpox-like disease among inmates at a prison in Greenville, Sano County. In the press release issued on Sunday, January 25, 2025, and signed by Director General Dr. Tupe Chris Nyan, NPHIL confirmed its heightening attention to the situation, given the ongoing mpox outbreak across the continent and globally, which the Institute has been addressing in Liberia. Dr. Nyan disclosed that the district surveillance officers have been mobilized to conduct epidemiological investigation. This including assessing suspected cases among inmates to evaluate symptoms to identify the nature of the disease. Specimens will also be collected and sent to the National Reference Laboratory for testing to determine the pathogen involved and its biomolecular characteristics. The NPHIL urged the public to remain calm and refrain from panicking as the investigation unfolds. The institute advised citizens to avoid unnecessary contact, maintain sanitary measures, and rely on accurate information directly from Enfield. Updates will be provided promptly as more information becomes available, the statement added. This response comes as a part of Enfield's ongoing effort to strengthen public healthcare system and ensure transparent communication during health crises. Dr. Nya reassured the public that Enfield's commitment to investigating the reports thoroughly and managing potential key risks respectively. Tragic shock early Sunday morning when the lifeless body of a young girl believed to be around 8 or 9 years old was found near Kitoma Hill in Vonjuma, Lofa County. According to Voice of Lofa, a blood-stained knife was discovered near the crime scene, heightening suspicious of foul play. A 15-man jury was convened to examine the body and later confirmed foul play involved in the girl's death. Authorities have yet to determine the exact circumstances surrounding the incident, but investigations are ongoing. Meanwhile, residents of the area are calling for swift action to ensure justice is served, as a tragic discovery has left the community in shock. Further updates are expected as law enforcement continues its inquiry into the circumstances. Members of the disbanded armed forces of Liberia have expressed outcry over what they described as insufficient pensions and years of neglect by successive governments. The veterans, led by Chairman Captain William Philip Anderson, demand justice for their sacrifices and threaten to take legal action if their grievances are not addressed within 2 weeks. Speaking on behalf of the veterans, Captain Anderson described the harsh conditions they face, including surviving on a meager monthly pension of just 30 USD, equivalent to roughly LD 7,000, which is often paid late, heightening the sufficient disparity between AFL veterans, personnel, and government official salaries. The veterans who served to protect key national institutions during Liberia's turbulent years feel abandoned by the government, particularly since the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. Anderson also raised concerns about the uniformity of pension payments, with disbanded generals and private receiving the same amounts and denying rightful benefits to thousands of veterans who enlisted in 1990s. He described the veterans' plight as a deep sense of betrayal, as many now grapple with homelessness, health issues, and poverty. As the veterans prepare to escalate their demands through the Supreme Court, Anderson vowed they would not back down, rejecting any attempts to silence them through financial inducement. The veterans' demand is not solely about financial compensation, but also a plea for respect and acknowledgement of their service to Liberia. Anderson warned that if the Bwaga administration fails to address their concerns, the veterans will be compelled to take further actions to ensure their voices are heard and their contributions to the nation are recognized. The Reporters Association of Liberia, RAL, and the Press Union of Liberia are demanding the immediate dismissal of Eugene Fagon as Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System, the LBS. The two media organizations have accused Fagon of fostering hostile working environment, violating labor laws, and failing to adhere to the principles of transparency and accountability. Both groups have called on President Joseph Boakai to intervene in what they describe as a rapidly deteriorating situation at the state-owned broadcaster. In a press release on Friday, January 24, 2025, the RAL, through its acting Secretary General Bobby M. Timbai and President Willie N. Tugba, expressed alarm over what they call the untenable leadership of Fagon. The RAL highlighted the arbitrary dismissal of LBS Workers Union President Joseph Boakai, that's President Joseph Sion, as blatant violation of Liberia's labor laws, which protect workers' right to organize and advocate through unions. The association also emphasized that Fagon's leadership undermines the Freedom of Information Act, which mandates transparency in public institutions. According to RAL, Fagon's actions have created a toxic environment at LBS, leading to mounting tensions among staff and threatening the station's ability to function effectively. The association warned that further delays in addressing their crisis will result in widespread upset and disrupt the station's operations. As part of their demands, the RAL calls for the reinstatement of Sion and the establishing an acting leadership team to stabilize the organization and prioritize workers' rights. In its own statement signed by President Julius Kanuba, the PUL echoed the concerns raised by the RAL and called for urgent presidential action. Following a week-long investigation into the situation at LBS, the PUL concluded the Fagon's leadership as being marked by gross administrative ineptitude. The organization accused Fagon of disregarding public principles of inclusive and accountable management, making unilateral decisions without consulting his senior management team or engaging the workers' union. One of the central points of contention is Fagon's dismissal of Sion, who had advocated for restoring workers' benefits and challenging what the union described as managerial authoritarianism. The PUL commended the dismissal as unconstitutional and violating labor laws, calling it a targeted repressive action to silence absent. The PUL has demanded Sion's immediate reinstatement and urged Fagon to adopt a more collaborative approach to leadership. In addition to addressing the dismissal of Sion, the PUL criticized Fagon's resilience on military decree number 20 of the People's Redemption Council to justify his action. The decree dates back to Liberian military regime and grants sweeping power to Director General of LBS, but consider it outdated and inconsistent with the country's democratic framework. Fagon's use of this decree, the PUL argued, undermines Liberia's progress in transitioning into democratic governance. The PUL also expressed concern over Fagon's exclusion of 3 of their 6 deputies appointed by President Joseph Boakai, further highlighting the lack of inclusivity in his management staff. According to the union, such actions have deepened organizational divisions and eroded trust between management and staff. The PUL called for a comprehensive review of the leadership structure at LBS to ensure accountability and transparency among forward. The LRA and PUL emphasized transforming LBS into a genuine public service broadcaster, the ground that the management team should be inadequately vetted through a merit system that promotes independence, impartiality, and the public interest. Such reforms, they said, are essential to restoring the integrity of LBS and ensuring its long-term sustainability. The situation at LBS has generated widespread concern, with many viewing it as a test of Boakai administration's commitment to upholding workers' rights and press freedom. The media professionals have called on President Boakai to take decisive action to resolve the crisis and prevent further disruptions at the state-owned broadcaster. The RAL and PUL have warned that failure to address the issues at LBS would have far-reaching consequences for the country's media landscape. They urged the president to act swiftly to restore order at LBS and set a precedent for how labor rights and press freedom will be respected under his leadership. And that is it this morning on our news bulletin here on Maggie Coffee Hour. And to be a part of this presentation, you can keep your texts coming through 0881 571 100. If you are following us via the radio, you can keep your text coming through that numbers 0881 571 100 0775 946 021. And if you would like to phone in, maybe you are out of Liberia, you can call on our WhatsApp number 0880 819985 0880, or better still 231 880 819985, and you will be live this morning on Maggie Coffee Hour. We will now go on our Facebook channel to bring out some of the comments coming from our followers. And this one says here, I'm watching from my home. It comes away from Nima Intellectual Parrot. That is Bobson Bob Quitty, who is called Nima Intellectual Parrot. Thank you, Bobson. And this one is coming from James Tola Jr. He says here, I'm following from Valley Community. Thanks for the update. Thank you too, my brother. And this one is coming from Austin Zaulo Gonetu Banco Glay. He says here, the show. He said, good morning, Maggie FM. I'm following from my Logantown residence, Montserrat County this morning. Thanks for the show, Chief. Thank you too, Honorable. And this one says, thanks you guys for the level of work done at Maggie. It comes away from Don Albert Sequoia. Thank you, Chief. Thanks for the comments. We appreciate. And this one, I'm following you live from Ganta graphic chat down Richmond. Richmond is following. Thank you, Richmond. And this one is from Leroy Blasua. Good morning, Maggie TV. I'm watching you from Jackie in Bombing County. Thanks for the information this morning. Thank you too as well. And this one is from S. Johnson Fode. He say, la good chemistry teacher sitting here reading news. So thank you, Chief. He's there in India. He's following us. S. Johnson Fode. Thank you, Johnson. Daniel S. Ulayo says, closely watching you from PSN community. Thank you, Chief. And Maretta Kola, that's Mighty Kola, says here, good morning, Maggie. I'm following you from Dupont Road. Thank you, and thanks to our many followers via the YouTube. And you can also do the same if you are following us via the radio. You can text us on 0881 571 100 this morning, and you will be live. And NS Bemi is just joining us. He says here, closely following from the Brotherhood Professional Barbing Shop in the LPMC community in Ganta. Thank you, NS. And so we will now go to the text and take our next development here, which is the segment, the voice segment of the news, make up those making the news right here. And so let's take this break. When we come back, we will continue with the comment section. But let's go for this break. On our return, we bring you voices of some of the news makers this morning.
It is celebration time. Oh yes, the Christian Bible Church and Center, CBC for short, is celebrating 25 glorious years of the faithfulness of God in its silver jubilee. A time to celebrate the goodness and faithfulness of the Lord over the years. This historic celebration is set to take place at the 22nd General Annual Conference of the Christian Bible Church and Center in February, and it is happening on Friday, February 14, 2025, as they gather to honor God's goodness and reflect on 25 years of spreading the gospel, transforming lives, and building a community of.
Oh yes, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's now go for this news segment. Like you hear in our intro of yesterday, Sunday, January 26, 2025, a girl believed to be in her 8th, going to 9, body was discovered dead around the Vonjuma City, Kitoma Hill. Following that, a 15-man jury team was set up to examine the body. And this is the reports of the 15-man coroner jury.
Transformation.
For the following one. At the front of the dead body, we discover a cutback between the chest and the stomach. Daphne, that's the certificate name. Okay, fine. Okay, 2, we also discover deep cut mark around the throat. 3, we discover at the back of the dead body, we discover 3 cuts mark at the back, 1 at the bottom and 2 at the waist. 4, we also discover opening at the anus. Okay. Then at about 12, 2 minutes after 12 p.m., the 15-man jury repositioned the dead body back in the tag room in the same unfinished building. Then we count out, they said the name of the child is Sia John, age 8 years old. Then the name of the father, Sir John, and the name of the mother, Mary John. Son, William Kwoti, secretary, call number 077-565-8160. Then the proof, Ma Wata El Kamara, chairperson. We got call number 0772-300-943. Then we got 088-28-30-10. So this is what we observed and we did. We saw and did the report on paper. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so that was the report coming there from the 15-man coroner jury that was set up to examine the remains of a girl believed to be in her early 8th. Her body was discovered dead at the Kitoma Hill with several holes around the abdomen, the diaphragm, and then yesterday it happens around in fact the body was discovered around the morning hours, and there was a knife with blood stream, and it is believed to be the knife that was used to carry on this nefarious act. And so the police are investigating thoroughly, the law enforcement, and we are hoping that justice will be served for those who need justice, right? And so this morning in Bapolu County, Senator Amara Kone over the weekend donated consignment of supply to various institutions. One of those benefited is the only hospital there in Bopolo City. Bopolo City benefited from that. Following that, he also donated a consignment of school supplies with additional promise to bring computers to the institution. And so we have detail of that information. Here is the voice of Senator Amara Kone.
To you, in appreciation for giving all your support to our country. We come here today. These are just demonstrations of a lot of material in 3 different rooms that we will want our people to see. This is for our children. This is that this caucus is determined to support you. The other thing is there are books here. These books are not Liberian books. These books are American books. Well, I remember when we went to school, we were reading American books in our curriculum. The idea is not to undermine our Liberianization. The idea is to introduce a reading culture in our schools. So like I was telling the DEOs this morning, we are going to support a program with the caucus, a reading program in the county. We'll support you. We'll have what you call library on motorbikes. Meaning the DEO motorbike will become libraries. Because we can put library in each district. So we'll build a box with books in it for each district. The DEOs will go around in their supervision. They will leave the books at the schools, and then they will recycle them. So all the children are able to read. And the purpose is we want our children from the kindergarten to when they graduate from the 6th grade to 7th grade, they can read and write well. And then do math. And then we'll do competition. There will be district reading competition. And then the champions will come to Bopolo. There will be county competition. We're not going national, we'll just stay here, we'll fix our school system. The last point from me, and this goes to our mothers, to our chiefs. In the whole country, Buffalo gets the lowest number of girls in our schools. In the whole country, our county gets the number of girls in our schools and the number of girls that are graduating from high school. Let us commit ourselves to this. We didn't come here to just give support. We came here to get commitment from you that we're going to start changing that and turn it around beginning this year. And we will work together as Parent Teachers Association with the CEO and his team, with the caucus, with the Nine-Man Council. Nine-Man Council should not just be about coming to Bopolo to divide money and the superintendent implement. The Nine-Man Council should go deep to try to change the things that are holding Buffalo County back.
For sure. For sure.
Let us agree that in 5 years, we will change that number. So this is a message from us to you. We can take a tour after this, after the chair, our co-chair speaks, the superintendent, and then you, then we'll take a tour so that you can see. Finally, I have a guest here. Unfortunately, she's not here. Sister Simon. She is a retired teacher from Atlanta, Georgia, a Liberian, from Grand Creek County, but with love for Buffalo. So she has committed to work with you.
I just came.
She's here? Yeah. Okay, you bring her. To the other local county officials. And to Lapu.
And so that was the voice of Senator Amara Kone of Bapolo County making and presenting consignment of school supplies, books to the high school there in Bapolo City. Following that, the caucus of Bapolo lauded the donation and promised to be used for its intended purpose. Here is an asset.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and the Bapudu County School System, I want to thank you. Senator Connell,
Yes, sir.
our hearts are touched. You are a true symbol of quality education. You are very passionate about the children of Bapudu. What you have done is indicative of that passion. We highly appreciate it. And we can assure you in the legislative caucus that these education materials will be used for the intended purpose. These materials will enhance our children's learning outcomes, and we will work with all stakeholders to ensure that they are effectively monitored and used in the various schools. And the people will work along with us to utilize these materials. And trust us, we will count on your network to see how we can continue to enjoy the blessing of your network for the good of our students. On those meeting,
Batikwa Konen, the receiving attends on behalf of the Popolo Legislative Caucus and promising that those attends will be used for its intended purpose. And so if you are just joining us via the radio, you can be a part of this presentation by sending in your text reaction, your motivation. It could be Bible verse through 0881571100, 0881571100, better still 0775 946 and this morning you will be live and you will form part of today's presentation of Maggie Coffee Hour. Let's go for this inspiration right here.
Christian Broadcasting. This is Maggie's FM 90.5 megahertz.
Somebody in this.
Okay. Let's try to get
Bible verses about discipline. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children, my son. Despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 5 to 6. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 11 to 12. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. Revelation chapter 3, verse 19. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 13. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 15. But a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate. Titus chapter 1, verse 8. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 13. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 17. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 15. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down, and without walls. Proverbs chapter 25, verse 28. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy, and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17.
And so the biblical inspiration is a regular feature of Coffee Hour right here on Maggie FM 90.5. Wherever you are this morning, if you would like to be a part of this presentation, you can phone in via 231-880-819-985. That line is for the WhatsApp only, and locally you can call us on 0881-571-100, better still 0775-946-021. And of course you will be live this morning on Maggie Coffee Hour. And so this morning, like you heard from the story we paraded in Luther County yesterday, where an 8-year-old girl was brutally murdered by an unknown individual or individuals in Luther County. And this is raising alarm. And the discovery of this lifeless body of the girl at the Cottima Hill in Virginia City is kind of tragic, and we are hoping that the law enforcement agency in that part of the country will act swiftly to bring the perpetrator to justice. And this incident raises several concerns, in the minds of citizens and the parents of this child. And not only that, also it raises concern about the safety of children in that part of the country. And not just that, in fact, all over the place. That is a thing that, in fact, it poses serious security threats to among the citizens, mainly so the children. And so we are hoping that the law enforcement agency will engage the community in addressing such hilarious act. And like we said, the victim, who is believed to be around 8 years old, it highlights a popular vulnerable demographic aspect of those around. There are some children, at times parents, you have to take note, right? At times, some of us, we just leave the children in the home and we are not around. Sometimes we too have to be careful where the children are going. We have to be concerned, because nowadays too many bad things are happening. Almost every day that breaks, we will hear a bad news. If someone lost his or her life, somebody will go missing. And we all have to take the measure to prevent these things from happening. Because now, if it happens, the only thing is we only cry for the law to take its course, even though the person has lost his or her life. right? So parents, we are urging you this morning to always guide your children, know where they are going, know who they are moving with, right? Too many bad things are happening in our environment. And this incident, in my mind, it should be a wake-up call to all local and national authorities to prioritize children protection. Parents, that goes to you. It also highlights a need for a stronger legal work frame towards the investigation of things happening in our country. And I think it requires a robust system to addressing crimes rate in our environment. And there should also be there is a need to also establish community vigilance, or we should have vigilante, right? That will also help, because once the community is vulnerable and people feel that nobody is around, sometimes they take advantage of those children. Children, every now and then, they are playing, and they have the right to play, right? So parents, we are just this morning asking you to always be by your children, know where they are going, and know the kind of friends they are moving with. This innocent child has just lost her life. And so it is sad, and we extend our deepest condolences to the family of that little girl in Louisville County who lost her life yesterday tragically. It is believed that she was murdered brutally by unknown individuals, evidenced by knife that is believed to have been used to carry on the act. And so we will go to the comment section and read out some comments just coming in. Daniel Wulayu is closely watching from the PSN community, and this one says, "Keep it up, brother. I'm always watching. Thank you." And I really appreciate you, Boston Bob Quitty Jr., for always making it your duty to follow us this morning and every morning on our presentation. This one is from Shelton Yawaseka. He says here, "I'm following from Glenlue community. Thanks you guys for keeping us up to date on your headlines." Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Shelton Yawaseka. I do appreciate. And this one is from let me get his name correct. Just a minute. Let me get his name correct here. Let me get his name correct. It's from Benyake. Okay, Benyake. Benyake it says here, "Good morning, Maggie. I'm watching you from Saclay City Truth FM radio station at to a community. Thanks, so kind, brother." Thank you, Chief. I do appreciate your text this morning. Thanks for following us there in Saclay City. I do appreciate. Let's go back here and read some of the comments that keep coming in this morning. This one says, "Liva Nkoi, journalist. Good morning. I'm Liva Nkoi, journalist, watching live from Radio Sletowa compound, Ganta City, Nimba County." Thank you, Liva. And so this morning we will go to our scripture and bring you our regular early morning scripture readings on our presentation. And so we'll take this break. When we'll come back, we bring you our scripture reference for today's presentation here on Maggie Coffee Hour.
Broadcasting. This is Maggie's FM 90.5 megahertz. Maggie's FM 90.5 megahertz. Your preferred radio station.
Okay, Maggie FM is your preferred radio
I used to belong to the
station.
90% who couldn't be bothered even if it was easy. How many people have a library card? Answer 3%. 97% couldn't be bothered. Guy specializes in happy hour, but he doesn't have a card. And now readily and quickly blames the government and blames his company and blames the pay scale. Here's my advice to you today. Walk away from the 97%. Don't talk like they talk. Don't go where they go. Don't act like they act. Don't specialize in what they specialize in. Throw away the blame list they cling to.
You got to be consciously conscious today because your environment can hypnotize, mesmerize, and paralyze you.
The other thing is take full responsibility for your life.
Oscar Wilde once said, responsibility is what we expect from somebody else. This is very true. Most people dread accepting responsibility. That's just a fact of life, and we can see it in operation.
And so, welcome back. We will take our biblical verse here, and this morning it comes from Lamentations 3, verse 22 to 23, and it reads, it says here, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And that is our Bible verse for today's presentation on Maggie Coffee Hour. And this verse reminds us that every morning is a fresh start with God's mercy and love. Without God's love, we will not be counted here today. It is because of his love, his grace, that you and myself are today counted among the living. And so, no matter the struggles of yesterday, God's faithfulness remains constant. And I've always said this, life itself will not always be the same. Like somebody will say in the simple way, life is not always bread and butter issue. There will be dilemmas, there will be some ups and downs. And in fact, life is full of uncertainties. And so, no matter the struggles that we said of yesterday, God's faithfulness remains constant. It encourages us to embrace and enhance each day with hope, trusting that God's understanding grace is just sufficient for you and myself. And so that is it this morning for our morning inspiration with the time 11 minutes until 8, and coming up at 8 we will call this a day. And just getting to today's presentation of Maggie Coffee Hour. So we'll now go to the phone lines. Our phone lines are now open. You can keep your calls coming to 0881571 10008157110000775 946-021 this morning to be live on Maggie Coffee Hour. Just before we go, we will take this news. Too many things happening across the continent, as you may be aware, so we'll bring this. Kenya president announces urgent summit of East African countries over Congo fighting. Congo is not at peace right now. We're talking about the Democratic Republic of Congo is not at peace. So the president is announcing urgent summit in that eastern region of the country. So we'll get to the president of Kenya for this update.
To speak to this evening, to heed the call for peace from the people of our region, The escalating conflict and deteriorating situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo are a grave concern to the people and governments of East Africa. Noting the worsening humanitarian crisis exacerbated by ongoing military actions, including the closure of airspace in Goma, I call for the immediate and unconditional cessation of hostilities. I call on the parties to the Luanda process on Eastern DRC and appeal specifically to my brothers, President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame, both of whom I have had the occasion to speak to this evening, to heed the call for peace from the people of our region and the international community. We will be convening an extraordinary East African Community Summit within the next 48 hours to facilitate and to deliberate on this crisis and chart a way forward.
Lifted up their voices and wept until they had no strength left to weep. The scenario is that David and his troops are returning back to Ziklag from a fight, only to find out that their families have been taken and there is a bigger battle to come. And this situation is so relatable to each and every one of you in the room.
So welcome back. Earlier on, you heard the voice of William Ruto, the president of Kenya, issuing that strong message to the Southeast following the clash of the unrest there in DRC Congo.
All the time, fighting for your health. And what you and I both know about life is that life does not fight fair. When you're in the middle of fighting for your health, boom, your car breaks down and there's another bill. Life is a fight. This is where David is in his life. He's in the middle of battle after battle after battle. And at this point, David's men had turned against him and were ready to stone him. He was at the brink of giving up. And many of you today are at the point where you're about to give up, standing on the edge of failure, where hell has thrown the kitchen sink at you, and life has drained you of your resources, and where people that promised you they will always be there have left. At the point where David was, many of you are today. At this point, what did David do? David encouraged himself. His wife wasn't there, his children wasn't there, his commanders and his generals had left him. But David encouraged himself. At a point in your life, you will have to encourage yourself. Your mama won't be able to do it. Your daddy won't be able to do it. Your pastor won't be able to do it. You will have to stand as an individual and talk to yourself. I am a child of God. I will get through this. This will not stop me. Greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. Nowhere in the Bible does it encourage giving up. Everyone around David had given up, and people around you will give up. You need to have the understanding that they're not built like you. Greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. When the going gets tough, the child of God gets going. When the odds are stacked against you, when hell is coming in for the kill, when retreat looks like the only option, when it looks like there's no way you'll be able to win, when your back is against the wall, encourage yourself. Because at this moment, that's when the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob moves into action. His strength is made perfect in weakness. At the point you're about to give up, at the point where you are tired, that's when the Lord's strength comes into play. David encouraged himself. David was not eaten up by the spirit of pride, where he encouraged himself in his own ability. He had the understanding and the grounding to know where his source of power was coming from, and encouraged himself in that area. The scripture says, David encouraged himself in the Lord. Now the problem with you and me is we spend our time beating ourselves up about past mistakes, past bad decisions, past defeats and failures, rather than encouraging ourselves in the Lord we serve. Next time you're in this situation, you need to remind yourself and the battle you are facing who you serve. Remind yourself, Exodus 14 verse 14, the Lord shall fight for me and I shall hold my peace. Remind yourself, Deuteronomy 3:22, I shall not fear them, for the Lord my God, he shall fight for me. Remind yourself, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. Whom shall I fear? Remind yourself, Romans 8:37, I am more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. Remind yourself, Ephesians 6 verse 10, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Remind yourself, Isaiah 54 verse 17, no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Oh yes, welcome back. And just before we leave you, like we said, in the next that's 8 o'clock, we will be leaving you, get into today's presentation. And as you may be aware, the president of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai, will be addressing and delivering his second State of the Nation address today on the grounds of the Capitol building. And we are hoping to bring you live coverage of that in the nation's capital. And the president will be speaking on a wide range of issues surrounding his government, talking about health issue, education, infrastructure, and agriculture. The president will be talking about that today. And so we are hoping to give update on that. And the president will also be discussing his achievements for the first year on a review. And so let's give you these quick updates. Boyfriend arrested in connection with murder of teenager. And so quickly, I just read this for you. It says the Liberia National Police has arrested Samuel Brown, commonly known as Boy Cracky, in connection with the tragic murder of teenage injured T. Weir. Injured a student of the AGM High School has been reported missing on Tuesday, January 23, 2025. Her lifeless body was discovered in an unfinished building behind Lord Kerry in Brewerville the following evening. Authorities have revealed that Angie was 3 months pregnant at the time of her death. Police say preliminary investigations point to relationship troubles between the victim and Brown as possible motive. The suspect has allegedly confessed to involvement in the crime, but maintained that he did not do it alone. Investigators are pushing leads to identify and apprehend other individuals who may have played a role in the murder. Angie's family reported that she borrowed her mother's phone to contact Brown before meeting him, and the police later found the suspect's phone number written on a piece of paper in her bag. Angie's remains were transported to a medical facility for further examination. The police have assured the public that efforts are underway to bring all those involved to justice as the community mourns the loss of a young life under such tragic circumstances. So of recent, last week, this report started coming out. This girl, Angie body was found behind the Lord Kerry School building in Brewerville in Monserrado County. And so now report is coming out that the boyfriend to her, Samuel Brown, has been arrested in connection with that. And Samuel has said he did not do the act lonely. So the police, are carrying on her investigation to swiftly bring those involved to justice. And so that's how we come to the end of today's presentation on Maggie Coffee Hour this morning. And so thanks to our followers on the radio. Thanks to those following us via our social media handles, as well as our YouTube channel. And thanks to those who try calling, but then their call couldn't just come. And so thanks again to the management team here for affording us to carry on this presentation. Thanks to our CEO calling us Nyamato there in the United States of America, who is making sure that Maggie FM comes to you live every day. Thanks to all the brains behind the station. And so on behalf of the presentation team of Maggie Coffee Hour, my name is Zika Vluler. On today's edition of Maggie Coffee Hour, join us tomorrow morning beginning at 6:20 for another edition of Maggie Coffee Hour. Until then, my name is Zika Vluler, bidding you a pleasant goodbye this morning.
He hasn't taken you this far to leave you in this situation. God is for you. He has plans to prosper you and not to harm you. He has a future and a hope for you. This is not the end. Regardless of the situation you are going through, this is not the end. And number 2, Psalms 30 verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. This might be the time for you to cry, but believe me, you will get through this. You will get through this. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.